Boom. We are live, baby, live. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It's March 9th, and I need to be in a better mood, Max. After that amazing weekend, these last few days have just been just very and I need wins. And I need them now, tonight, big time. But how are you doing today? What's going down?
It's one of the most beautiful days of college basketball because you're fighting for your life. And a perfect example of being in the corner, not having the support, sort of like the country of Ukraine right now, and you're Boston College, and you fucking outright dominate. You outright fucking besiege Wake Forest and extend the fucking streak. Wake Forest, goodbye. Coach Forbes, Coach of the Year, ain't mattered in this game, bud. Boston College with a huge goddamn upset. It's crazy. Yeah. It's madness. It's March, Conor. I fucking love it.
I know. And you gotta look out. I mean, that's what kept me off that. And I won money, nothing to do with the game in the end. Some of these teams are shooting unreal. Look how bad Syracuse was. Oh, just turn it into conference. And Boeheim, they fucking drained 95 points. It's like, what? These were two different teams. I mean, they just went 0-5 ATS. You know what I mean? Wake Forest or Florida State was playing a bunch better as of late, winners of 3 straight, and just get their ass whipped. They were making threes, though, from all over the joint. And when they make shots, I always say that. Very different team. Especially the Boeheim boy, especially Buddy, even though I don't know what's going to happen with him with a little punch he did today.
Yeah, he's got to be suspended.
Yeah, I think he'll be out, so that's not good for them. But even this game, Max, Stanford, Arizona State, it's a 1-point game here that I see right now, 70-69, 30 seconds. I couldn't go back to the well.
Stanford
I think you had it on Saturday, too.
Stanford wins it on a game-winning shot.
Whoa. They just did? There you go. There you go.
What an upset.
That was nice.
Oh, my God. 71-70, Conor.
Beautiful. Because, I haven't had it updated. Yeah, so I couldn't go back to the well, but I haven't trusted Stanford scoring in a little bit. So, but like you said, anything happens on these neutral courts, on these tournaments, because it's kind of a reset for them, these teams. And let me know. Hit me up with the line movement. I'll get to the chat after that, but tell me what's caught your eye on the rest of today's games here, side and total wise.
Obviously, with a chunk of the board already off and doing kinds of things that I don't even want to think about, I have to stop and I have to talk about some of these unders. We're seeing some serious line movement towards the under, especially in these last 2 ACC games, Conor. Clemson and Virginia Tech opened up at 134. It's down to 129 right now, and it still seems like a total that can stay under that. Louisville, Virginia, 125 opener down to 122. So we're seeing some heavy steam towards the under, and I wonder if it's going to be correct today. San Jose State, Fresno State, we've seen a slight move towards the under there. Thought that I'd see a steeper move. In the Oregon State game, which will be starting in about freaking 20 minutes, we've seen Oregon State, who hasn't won in the year 2022 yet, go from a 10.5 point underdog to a 9-point or an 8.5 point underdog. So that's a real weird situation, especially with their roster situation. So definitely be on the lookout for that one. I think that when we look at another total in the Pac-12, we got to stop at that Utah-Washington game. Not only have we seen Washington go from a 1-point favorite to a 2.5 point favorite on a neutral court, which is definitely a little suspicious. We've also seen the total go from 143 to as low as 139.5. And we know from watching Washington lately, teams can shoot over the zone, teams can score inside versus their zone, and Washington can do their own part when it comes to getting a total over. So Very interesting line movement. We are in March. That is for goddamn sure. And when we look at Georgetown and Seton Hall, were you expecting me, Connor, to come on this show and say, Connor, there's been a line movement towards the over in the Georgetown game? I wish I could, Connor, but I can't. 144.5 opener down to as low as 141.5 right now. Absolutely mind boggling. We have seen Nebraska, Northwestern. We saw that total go from 146.5 down to as low as 144, and Northwestern is only a 4-point favorite. Very interesting line move or lack thereof on that game. Mississippi went from a 3 to a 4. That may matter at the end of game with the spread, so be aware of that. Very surprisingly, we've seen Georgia and Vanderbilt have a total open up at 147.5. That's down to as low as 143 right now. So could be some middling opportunity there, Connor. Going into Conference USA, Rice and Charlotte had a total that opened at 143.5. Not surprisingly, it's down to 140.5. Marshall, Louisiana Tech, 152 down to as low as 149. And Old Dominion, 129 down to 126.5. All moves that are not surprising in my eyes. Southern Miss and Florida Atlantic, with Southern Miss having Jerron Peter and Tyler Stevenson just not starting last night, this total definitely is suspicious. 137 down to 135. Maybe a spot to actually come back on the over, in my opinion. Quickly going through the rest of the games, Connor, so we can actually talk about them. West Virginia, 139.5 opener, down to 137 or 136.5. Ryder and Iona opened up at 138.5. Now you can get that as low as 136. And when it comes to the games in the Western Athletic, Utah Valley opened up as a 1-point favorite. They are now a 3-point dog. So crazy line movement. Going to be a crazy night of basketball. And Connor, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this slate.
Yeah, I can't. I think it's going to get crazy here. At this point, I just want to take it game by game. So let's just do that now. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to the chat here. Tony Cobbs, Bill McHugh, Matty Ice, Taint Play of the Day, Nebraska plus 5.5. Cash Action Bets. Ron Lawford, Paulie Walnuts, T Mac, Ron Lawford, Ron Lofton, AJN, Jefferson C, Boss A, J Smith, Brian, what's up? Jake, Blackthor King, TCATL. Who else is in here? CT Bays, what's up, my man? Robert Franklin, Colton, Talk Sports with JT, Rodney Barton, good to see you. James S, Tori Coker. All right, Max, let's get right into these. Let's get to the ACC, the games you were talking about here. Clemson, Virginia Tech. This line's 5, and you talked about the total that's gone down 5 points to 129.5, right about there. What do you like here? I don't love laying these points. Points right now after already today seem iffy. So what do you think here, Clemson, Virginia Tech?
Well, Clemson definitely got a boost to the lineup getting PJ Hall back. And when you can get Alamir Dawes knocking down threes in the second half, you know that you're skating on some freaking pretty nice balanced skates. I think that tonight going up against this Virginia Tech team with Storm Murphy and freaking Hunter Couture, you know, there's going to have to be some improved on-ball defense to make sure that you're not letting these guys get into rhythm and to scorch you. In the front court, having PJ Hall back not only gives you a legitimate freaking front court dominator, he's a guy that can give you some good defense, but he's got to stay on the floor. That means not reaching in. That means not getting called for those body fouls against Keve Aluma or Justin Mutz. If they are able to get good shots early, get into the lead, and at least have this game competitive at halftime, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't give Clemson a shot here. But the real value was with the under on the opener, and now at 129, it's just difficult to tell you guys to get on it.
Yeah, I don't know if it stays there. Let's get to the next one. Louisville, Virginia. Virginia 6-point favorite. This totals 122.5. I think Virginia wins here, Max. I know they just played the other day, but I don't trust them kind of laying points like this. I know Louisville isn't the best team, all the problems that they've had this year. They played a little bit better of late. And like you said, they win yesterday. You have a little life. Today, you go in, with nothing here, free. So Virginia needs to be on the lookout as well. What do you think here, Louisville, Virginia?
I think that for Virginia, it's just so critical that they get good balance on both sides of the floor when it comes to their guards. Reese Beekman and Kie Clark with their ball facilitation, it's so vital to get guys like Jaden Gardner and Armon Franklin into scoring positions. I think at the end of the day, though, I don't like how this Virginia team plays as a favorite. If I was willing to freaking back them in any way, it would only be first half. I think that Louisville is a team that, listen, I've said it before, if they're hitting jump shots and that means freaking guys like Jared West and Noah Lockyer getting off, I think that's a big thing. I think that with Dre Davis and definitely Malik Williams defensively, you're going to have to get some good length. You're going to have to stop interior scoring. You're going to have to be able to close out on these wing shooters. And at the end of the day, if you can't guard when Gardner tries to low block and freaking post you guys up, bringing double teams and not being able to get back out on 3-point shooters, they're going to freaking hurt you. So it's an ugly game, Connor. I think that the easiest way to play it was to play the full game under. And even right now, at the number that it is, it still has 2.5 points of value on mine.
Okay, let's get to this next one, Max. I'm interested in what you're going to say here. San Jose State, Fresno State. Fresno's laying 13.5. This total's just 121.5, 122. I think Fresno wins. This is a game I'm probably not going to lay it, but what do you like here in this one? San Jose State, Fresno.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough value for me to take it full game, but there definitely is enough for me to take it at least first half and then evaluate from there or just live bet the game entirely. I think that with San Jose State, making 3-point shots is so critical for their offense. And if Fresno's able to really slow the tempo down, really force them to grind out those shots, they're not going to get those clean looks. They're not going to get those corner trays that they rely on. And I just think that at the end of the day, with Orlando Robinson on the other side of the floor with his collegiate career pretty much at risk, I don't think that he is going to have an off game. I think that he dominates for prize pick people, and I think that he's going to be the reason why Fresno's up by 10 at halftime.
Yeah, I might look at them first half. San Jose State's just been so awful, Max, especially like their last 15 games or so, in conference play. They've just gotten their ass blown out. Yeah, just Fresno's not the best team. This is a team that's very slow paced. I just don't love laying points like this. But yeah, maybe a first half look there, especially if Fresno shoots it well. I think they could jump on them early, because sometimes they have a hard time shooting, but play great defense. So that always matters. Let's go over to the Pac-12 here, Max. T-Mobile Arena, where we just saw Stanford beat Arizona State 71-70. Get over the total as well. Let's get to this one. Oregon State, Oregon. Wow, the Ducks need to win some games here, Max. They're laying 9. This total's just come down a point to 142. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that Oregon State seems like one of these situational spots that you got some value on their team total. I think that we've seen Oregon State, especially which is stuck in my memory, are the Washington State games. I think that we're seeing this team finally realize that maybe they got to change some of their tempo to really give their opponent a different look than what they're prepared for. When I look at these numbers for the team totals for Oregon State, I definitely narrow in on that 30.5 on the first half, because if they're going to be competitive, if we're going to see 66 to 69 points in the first half, they're going to have to do their part. I think that they get up for a game against their rival, and I'll be freaking smacking or kissing the Oregon State sign over my shoulder during this game. And if you see me do it, you'll understand why, because I want Oregon State to actually I don't think that they're going to win the game, Connor, but I want them to be respectable, and that means staying
Yeah.
within the number. This is
Yeah,
their
I think they
time.
can. Yeah.
Sorry, this is their time, and with them being the Cinderella of last year, what makes you think that they can't put the shoe on again?
Well, I don't think they have the shoe's not the same this year as the players they had from last year, but I think they're playing a bit better than the last few. They were ravaged by injuries, just a bunch of stuff. Obviously, players left from last year's team, their best players, but I think they can hang within this number. Nothing excites me with wanting to lay a number like this with Oregon right now. Just no way. I took Washington State the other day on Saturday. And I wouldn't lay it with the Ducks here at all. Let's keep rolling. California here, Cal versus Washington State. Another one. Washington State's laying 8 basically everywhere, Max. This total's 125.5. I think total's pretty spot on here. What do you think, though? Can Washington State maybe cover here, or do you like the dog?
Yeah, this is a no-go for me. This is one of those signs on a door saying no trespassers allowed. I'm not trespassing.
I just don't trust Cal's offense enough, especially in the second half of the season. They kind of were decent, Max, and even covering numbers early on. But this is a restart for all these teams going to the conference tourney. So every time you see 8 to 10 points, it scares me a little bit. Washington State's the better team. They get by here, but I'm not going to lay this number. Let's get to the last nightcap there, Max, at T-Mobile. Utah versus Washington. Excuse me. You talked about this total. It's come down to 140, basically. Some 139.5 even here at the Westgate. Lines move from 1 to 2.5 basically everywhere for Washington. What do you like here? This is one. These teams don't play much defense. I don't love a whole lot of overs, but this was one that if it kept dropping a little bit more, that I might look at. What do you think here, Utah, Washington?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we've seen such good chemistry with these three guards for Washington that played together in high school, and it's just made a big difference. This team was an under team for about 6 weeks, and then something just snapped, and that is Terrell Brown. The season that he's having for this team has been the difference. I think that with his ball dribbling skills and his ability to hit that teardropper, that mid range, that free throw jumper, it just stretches defenses that much more and makes Washington that much more difficult to cover. I think at the end of the day, though, when I see these types of numbers, specifically with the total, I do worry about Utah doing their part, but I'm not really having as much trepidation when it comes to Washington. So it could be a spot where I just look at Washington team total over, because I've learned my lesson, Connor, with Washington first half team totals. Many times I've seen them barely score 30 in the first half and then score 40 plus in the second. So I'm not getting caught up in that shit. If I do take a team total in the game, it's Washington full game. But I think that you're right on point when it comes to the over.
Yeah, this Utah team doesn't play much defense, and Washington, as long as they're and play SC or something like that, when they play other teams like Utah here or Oregon State, these games have gone over. So we'll see in the late night one there. Let's get over to the Big East here, Max. What Butler Xavier is going on right now here at Madison Square Garden. Let's get to the game just after. DePaul, St. John's. St. John's laying 4.5. A few fives. This total is 154.5, 155. Do you trust St. John's to get this done here?
I trust them first half. That's how I look at it. I think that with this team, first half, they've had some value for me. I think that their team total over at 78.5, while it may seem high, I do think that it is juiced right and telling me that I should be on the over on this one. Listen, we've seen tons of St. John's games, Connor, where they have very nice first halves, questionable finishes, but we've also seen a good share of their wins be wire-to-wire games. Now, I want to take them first half, see how their tournament defense comes out. I want to see if Joel Soriano is being effective, and I want to see if freaking Adewusu or freaking Montez Mathis are going to have that outlier type game to support the scoring that you're going to anticipate getting from Champagne and Posh Alexander. At the end of the day, point guard play is going to matter, and who wins the battle at the point guard spot is going to be interesting, especially with the size that Javon Freeman Liberty has if he's going to be handling the ball. But what we've seen with this Tony Stubblefield team is that there is a bunch of fluidness going on with this team. They have some good size. They're not going to get bullied around. And if you don't close out on mid-range shooters, they're going to hit those all day. So I think that St. John's has to get off to a good start. I believe that by my numbers and by the eye test, when it comes to these two teams in their season series, this is a spot where I can lay 2.5 points or 3 points with St. John's on the first half.
Yeah, I think that's a decent look early, Max. This team towards the last few weeks of the year is not good. They have so much talent. It's just hard for them to put it together. And defensively, at times they press and get steal, but they get beat so easily. I mean, that's why their games are regular in the 70s and 80s. I don't love this DePaul team. I'm just going to stay off, or maybe look St. John's early or live bet. Let's get to the second half of that one here in the nightcap. Georgetown, Seton Hall. Seton Hall's laying 9.5. This total's come down, like you talked about, to 142. They just played, and it stayed under. I think it hit this number. It was like 73-68. It stayed under the 145 total, something like that. So right now, it's about what the game was just a week ago. Yeah. So any Georgetown game, I'd look over. I think Seton Hall does what they want. Seton Hall's defense is just so good. That's what kept that game under the other day. What do you like here, Georgetown, Seton Hall?
Yeah, I'm off this game.
Nothing?
No, Seton Hall can kiss my ass.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to lay that number, but this keeps dropping. I mean, Georgetown's that bad. But can they score enough, which I think they could? That one I have question marks about that I will look at later. Shout out to the chat. Jake, what's up, my guy? Jake Kaiser up in here. Good to see you. Officer Don Carleone, Brian Gant, Unc Oliver, what's up, my man? Cash Action Bets. Got a few of the other Jakes in here. What's going on? C. James, Ninja 13. Jake Gang. James Calley, what up? Damon Nasty Nate in the house. What up, my guy? Nate. Rodney Barton. Arthur Mead Jr. Brian, what's going on? Blackthorn King, my man. Good to see you. What up? Blackthorn King. The guy up in here. All right, Max, let's get to the Big Ten. Let's get to the Big Ten here. Indianapolis, Indiana. This Matty Ice taint play of the day. Nebraska. You got 5.5. There were 5s, now they're 4.5s, and now even 4s as Nebraska's taken the money here, Max. What do you like here at Nebraska, Northwestern, total 144.5?
Yeah, the news definitely came out like an hour ago during warmups. Bryce McGowan's had his wrist wrapped. Looks like he's ready to go tonight. And listen, if there was a underdog out of these Big Ten games, Nebraska definitely fits the bill. This is a team that looks like they may have turned the corner slightly, and they've done it with defense. Northwestern is a team that schematically can be dangerous for them because they can draw them out of that solid defensive play, solid defensive half-court man-to-man defense. And if they do that, that is problematic for Nebraska. However, I do think it is easier to slow a team down than it is to speed one up. But we've heard lots of people say that over the years that I've been around. And with Northwestern, the other thing that you have to be cautious about is the fact that they have done very well in these types of matchups versus this tier of Big Ten opponent. However, with this being do or die for Nebraska, I do think that we see the best from the McGowans, who this is what they signed up to play together for. So obviously Trey was smart for getting out of Pittsburgh, but that's another conversation for another day. I think at the end of the day, if you can stop Boo Buie and you can stop Chase Audaige from hurting you from the perimeter, anything that Pete Nance and Ryan Young do inside is going to be something you can get over. So I like where the Taint Master's going, and it really does feel like some Scarlett Johansson taint in Victoria's Secret, ready to go with a blunt and a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, can Nebraska keep on going? I mean, just these last 3 games or 4 games that they won have just been shocking to how bad they were, Max. They couldn't even cover numbers at all, how bad defensively, and then they just rip off these wins, even on the road. They're just like, what the hell? So playing good. We'll see here. I think it might be too many as well. But let's get to the next one. Minnesota, Penn State here. Penn State's even 3.5. This total obviously low, 125.5. I want nothing to do with this one. I don't like how Penn State's played towards the end of the year. They are a little bit better defensively, but I think the total's kind of spot on here, Max, at 125. What do you like, Minnesota, Penn State?
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you right now, when you look at this Minnesota team and how they've been able to freaking really pull it together, I just think that you have to look at the matchup, and the matchup just does not favor them. I'm not really crazy about laying this number with Penn State, but I do think that they can win this game. I think that the best way to attack it with Minnesota games is Penn State able to keep them down offensively? Is Penn State able to freaking keep them off the 3-point line? And with Minnesota, we know that they've been very good scoring in the first half, 35 points type performances. So if Penn State is going to be winning this game and covering this number, Connor, we know that we're going to see a game that struggles to get to the 130s. But if we're seeing Minnesota drilling 5 or 6 or 7 threes in the first half, we know where it's going. Minnesota will end up winning this game because that 3-point shot is that key to them. And what is Penn State's kryptonite on defense? 3-point shooting. So it's a dangerous spot either way, total and spread.
Yeah, for sure. Someone asked CT Bays about the over in the game, the Nebraska game. Not easy. 60% of the tickets are on the over, but the money's on the under. It's conflicting here. I got over 60, so little difference there. It's just come down, but a lot of bigger bets I think have come in on the under, even though the tickets are showing to the over in that Nebraska game. Let's keep rolling, Max, to the SEC here. First round, Tampa, Florida, Ole Miss, Missouri. Ole Miss is laying 4 here. Totals 131. There's a few 130 and a halves. I got to take Missouri. I just don't know why. They beat them a few times already. I just think they could keep this game low scoring. I also like it under. I think it could stay under as well. What do you like here, Ole Miss, Missouri?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I think that when I take Missouri in a game to actually win a game, it's got to be when they're at home and not in Tampa, Florida. For all I know, Connor, Missouri fucking went to a strip club, saw some subpar strippers, have them stuck in their head, and they're not going to be able to hit jump shots tonight. That's how crazy it could be.
That's
I
true,
love
but that's true for both teams. I mean, they're very. Yeah.
It's not true for Ole Miss because let's be
Man.
brutally honest, they're fucking used to strippers that just got off the maternity ward and still got their baby fat on them. So let's not beat around the bush there. But the good
Right.
people of Missouri, I love those people. I love Missouri. It's a great state. I'd like to live there one day. But they don't win basketball games and cash tickets for me when they're not at home. As simple as that. I love Kobe Brown. I love his versatility. I love his ability to get inside and be a physical dominating factor. But he's going to need Jerron Coleman. He's going to need Javon Pickett, Amari Davis to be able to score the basketball. I'm talking 50 points at least combined between the three of them.
Yeah.
They don't beat Ole Miss, in my opinion, in a low-scoring game. If they can up the freaking tempo and force Missouri to come out of their comfort zone and play a game in the 140s instead of the 130s, then so be it. I just don't see it.
All right, let's keep rolling. Let's get to this next one. Georgia, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's laying 9. I like this Vanderbilt team, but here's the problem. They're laying 9 here, Max. I know Georgia's bad and very bad defensively. This total's come down to 144. I'm looking at Georgia here. I don't know if I'm going to go first half or take this live, but I think this is too many points for a Vandy team that might win, but there's no way I think they win by 10, even to this Georgia team. What do you like here?
Yeah, listen, Connor, you're right on the right track there, in my opinion. With Georgia, they have been a fantastic underdog, even though we've really come to not expect a whole lot from them. Obviously, in their last game against Missouri, it was a little questionable, but you're going to obviously have a bit of a letdown after you almost fucking beat Tennessee at home. So I'll give them that. I think that when it comes to this Georgia Bulldog defense, 3-point defense is going to paramount tonight. You got to be able to chase guys off the 3-point line. And I think that with Kario Oquendo, this is a guy that's really been able to take over the offense, be able to make the offense work for him, and we're seeing the results on paper and in game. You're going to need, though, Aaron Cook to bring that Gonzaga pedigree, former Southern Illinois, to this game. He's got to be able to freaking speed up the offense. He's got to be able to take advantage if Vanderbilt gets on their heels. And you know what? You have to attack in transition. Do not slow this game down. It's not going to suit you. Vandy, with their isolation and being able to run everything through Scottie Pippen, they can burn clock without having to freaking worry about efficiency. Georgia's not the same situation. So tempo will decide what happens in this game. But Connor, I'm not laying that kind of points with Vanderbilt. They're not at home. They're not at home tonight. So fuck that. They may be drinking some Tampa Bay swine water, and that shit isn't good for your stomach. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no shit. It'll give you the shits.
Oh God, the shits.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to Conference USA here. Ford Center, Frisco, Texas. Rice versus Charlotte here. Max is 2.5. Even some threes now popped up. This total is dropped to 140.5. I don't trust Rice away from home. I know they can, they're decent from hitting threes, but they're so horrible defensively. I should think Charlotte's just a better team overall. I didn't like many favorites today, but I thought with this short number it was solid. So with the 2.5, so I think Charlotte gets the job done today. Pretty good with their free throws, as I was looking up, 7th in the country. So I'm gonna lay it the 2.5 with Charlotte. What do you think here?
I hate to say it, but Rice may be better off without Quincy Oliveri. It hasn't worked out in the win-loss. Yeah, it hasn't worked out in the win-loss column. But I think that with Oliveri in the lineup, he's a guy that really is going to fucking take bad shots even when he shouldn't. And when you have a guy like that, it takes away good opportunities from your driving guards like Chris Mullin and Travis Evie, who are very capable of getting inside. I think that the main thing for Rice tonight is to get balanced scoring, is to get good on-ball defense from your best defender in Carl Pierre. But if you can't do that, which has been evident in at least one of these games, it is a dangerous fucking spot. Jameer Young, these are what games he is best suited for.
Yes.
A game that he can be the game changer. And Connor, what do we see in March with some of these lower level teams? If you got a guy that can go off for 30 or 35 in a game, that's going to be enough to get you through and get you through the next round. So I think Charlotte wins and advances. I think there's value on the total with the under. And that's scary because one of my good guys that I literally get nervous when I'm betting against is on the over in this game.
It could get there, but I'm going to stay off these totals. These Conference USA totals have driven me nuts these last few weeks. All right, let's keep rolling. And you're right with Young. I think he's the best player on the floor, Max. And, if he can get it done, I think they win. All right, Marshall, Louisiana Tech. Tech is laying 8, 9, 8 basically everywhere now. This total's 150 basically everywhere. Do you have anything here? Marshall, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, I think that with Marshall, I want to be backing Louisiana Tech in first halves. I think that obviously with Louisiana Tech, it's so important for them to get balanced scoring, that other contributors early in the game. And that starts with Keaton Willis and Kobe Williams. Isaiah Crawford not being in the lineup takes away a lot of physical inside the arc scoring that you get from this team. And, putting all your freaking poker chips on Kenneth Lofton every game can fucking bankrupt your freaking bankroll at times. So as long as the almost 300-pound ballerina freaking I would say power forward can get going, get underneath defenders and score the basketball, then they're going to have a good shot at covering this number. That's why I prefer Louisiana Tech first half, and then I'll be looking at them full game at halftime. And let's not also forget Conor. Okay. Louisiana Tech, very good second half team.
Yeah, we will see. I think they win. I don't know if they cover. Maybe I'll wait on it then. Maybe if it's close at halftime. Let's keep rolling here. Old Dominion UTEP. This is an interesting game today. It's money's come here on UTEP. The line's moved to 2.5. There's some twos still out there, Max. Totals 127, few 126 and a halves. This game, I think, could go either way. The more it keeps moving to UTEP, if I could get over 3, maybe look Old Dominion, but I haven't been able to trust them much all year. But what do you think here, Old Dominion UTEP?
Yeah, I think that this is a game that unless you get a triple-headed performance from this UTEP trio of Kennedy, Boom, and Bienemy,
Yeah.
I do think that you could beat them. When you look at how Austin Trice has been able to transform himself on this team this year, it's been a difference maker. Obviously, there definitely needs to be some scoring from these guards, and CJ Kaiser is the guy that has to be able to produce. But on the other side, Jalen Hunter has shown us glimpses of better things to come. And I do think that this is a guy, especially if he can limit his turnovers, who's solid from the 3-point line, exceptional from the free throw line, and has given you some outlier games. You need something to step up, something to be out of the ordinary. And at least with ODU, they have been in decent form. So while UTEP definitely was one of the hottest teams in the conference in, let's say, January to early February, that's tailed off a bit. I think that ODU, if they're going to be in this game, probably are winning at halftime. And if not, I'm definitely skeptical of UTEP's second half defense. So ODU plus 2.5 or plus 3 would be much more appetizing than the other way around.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get to this next one, Max, the last one for tonight. Southern Miss, Florida Atlantic. Atlantic's laying 13.5. It's come down from 15 where it opened. Totals come down a few points as well, 135. I don't have much here. I'd like to take the points with Southern Miss, but I don't know if I trust them. What do you think here? Southern Miss, Florida Atlantic.
I think that the total is an over number. I thought that at 140, maybe I would be questioning it. However, with the way that this USM team rebounds the basketball, they will extend possessions. They will get to the free throw line. They will force the Zebras to blow their whistle. And with Jerron Pierre and Tyler Stevenson, even without Mo Arnold and Isaiah Moore, I still think that there's enough to help this total get over. With FAU, we've seen them put up 70 plus in both games against Southern Miss this year. I don't think that changes tonight. I think that we see some high octane offense, even though we've come to expect it more so on the home court for FAU than on the road. I do think that this is an opponent that will extend the game, will give you opportunities. And let's not forget, this Southern Miss team ups their scoring average in the second half by 11 points. So I don't see the issue with taking this line the way it is, where it is right now. And I think that this is a game that both teams have the potential to go over team totals.
Alrighty. Let's get to the next one here, Max. West Virginia, Kansas State. K-State's laying 1. There's a few 1.5s out there. This total's come down to 137, 137.5. Not one I'm big on here. I think Kansas State can beat West Virginia this year. Obviously, West Virginia's had one of their worst years in a while. What do you like here, West Virginia, K-State?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think that this is a spot where with Marquise Noel versus not having Marquise Noel makes a big enough difference for me to flip sides on this. But if you get a good outlier 3-point shooting effort from Taz Sherman, that would be enough to cover and carry them in a game that I expect to be lower scoring. With Kansas State, we have seen some of these numbers fly over. It is definitely not an ironclad system to roll with. However, with the opponent, with the matchup, with the efficiency of their opponent, I do think that that works in their favor. And when you have that Mike McGurl, Nigel Pack, and Marquise Noel trio in the guards in the backcourt, I do think that that can get you through this game. So while they are playing smaller, Connor, I do think that a guy that I've been ragging on, Ishmael Massoud, he's the real X factor. And if he plays productive plus minutes for this team, I think that they advance.
Okay, let's keep going here. Let's get to the Metro Atlantic Conference. Max Ryder, Iona. It's open 9.5. It's all the way to 11.5. This total's come down to 136. What do you like here, Ryder, Iona?
Yeah, I'm riding with Iona first half. If I'm gonna ride with them, I think that this is an Iona team that when they get to this conference tournament, it is about business. It is about crushing people. It is about leaving no goddamn doubt that they are the top dog in this conference. They have flexed their muscle twice already. Twice already versus this Rider team. And when you can do that and keep your games under by 7 and 14 points, that definitely calls out to me being like, do we sell some points on the under? Do we sell some points? I have to call Noli Knows. Where's my guy Noli Knows? Hey, Noli. Hey, bro. Iona, sell 3 points? Yeah. Feels like that, Connor. Feels like that.
Well, if you're serious, I'll just message him and see what he has to say. Fairfield, St. Peter's. Fairfield is 5 point. St. Peter's, sorry, 5 point favorites up to Max from 3.5. Low total here, 122.5. You trust St. Peter's to lay this number? I don't want to. I think they win, but what do you think here?
Yeah, I trust them. I trust
You
them.
do?
I think
Okay.
this is a bad matchup for Fairfield from a defensive standpoint. While St. Peter's definitely is going to sometimes play into your freaking up and down roll, we have seen them shut down the last couple games, getting back to St. Peter's basketball. And with Fairfield, it's not really a matter of their offense. It's a matter of them being able to stay even on the glass. When they're getting crushed on the glass, that's when they're freaking giving up 70 and not getting to 60. But if they can stay even on the glass, then they will be able to stay. The issue is you're going up against the St. Peter's front court of the Dramies and Casey Nadafo, and that's just not a freaking very enviable task within this conference. I think that with St. Peter's, first half defense is key. We've seen them be able to keep teams under 30. This is another must when it comes to this game. And when I look at St. Peter's, Connor, even on their home court, even on the road, they can win and they can cover numbers without 3-point shooting. So go inside, play grease ball, pretend that you're playing within 10 feet of the bucket. That's the only range you got. And you're going to be able to freaking put your freaking thumb on Fairfield's throat. At the end of the day, turnovers matter, and that's where St. Peter's is only major issue could be in this game if they get sloppy and turn the ball over early. If they don't, I don't really see them freaking being any kind of freaking stepping stone.
All right. Let's head to this one, Max. These should be a good games. California Baptist blew it last night. Sam Houston State, Max. This is 3.5. If I were to play this, I'd take Sam Houston. This was the only one of their favorites I kind of liked on the board today. I really don't love the hook. You can get threes out there. But I think with Flag and company, I think they have a little bit better defense. I think Sam Houston can cover the number here. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, I think that with California Baptist, with the Armstrongs and my fellow Canadian Ty Roel, you do have some very good snipers. And if they're hot and efficient, then they can really carry this California Baptist team. But when we talk about personnel advantages and we talk about the personnel advantage that makes a difference in the last 5 minutes of the game, his name is Savion Flag. We've seen him do it countless times already this season. Not only will he be physical on your best guard player, he will go to the glass, he will grind, he will not settle for jump shots. And with his talent level, he's made it very clear that he knows he's better than fucking 95% of Western Athletic Conference players. I think that Sam Houston shows us early on that they can win. And if they don't show it early on, I would be perfectly comfortable laying it with them at halftime, down or up.
Yeah, all righty. Let's get to the late night one there, Max. Utah Valley versus Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian's laying 3 here. Total's 132. This should be a good game. This is where I think all the money's come on Abilene Christian in this one. I'm going to sit back and wait on this one, and it might be a live game, live betting situation here with this game as well. But I think Utah Valley catching these points, it's going to be a close game. But what do you think here, Utah Valley, Abilene Christian?
Yeah, I think for Utah Valley, they're definitely a team that I like better in this type of situation at this type of number. Abilene Christian's a team I like more at home, and I think that every Western Athletic Conference team has to figure out what they're going to do as far as the matchup that is Fairdahl Amick. With Fairdahl Amick, this is a kid that's definitely grown. He's a great rebounder, probably the best rebounder in the nation, in my opinion, and a guy that can give you 25 and 15 in a game. We've seen now with Justin Harmon coming back with the experience and length of Conor Harding, and then if you stop Fairdahl Amick with double teams from your front court players, you better fucking have somebody on Tim Fuller because he's coming in and he's going right to the rim. There is danger with this Utah Valley team. The key for them is getting off to a good start, not letting Abilene Christian's perimeter defense strangle them. And obviously, Connor, with Abilene Christian wanting to turn you over and hawk you, you got to freaking be able to deter and resist the ball hawking. So if Utah Valley can do that early, I think that they're going to have a fighting chance. They play just as good defense as Abilene Christian, and they're a team that has learned how to win games without having to hit threes. So when you can do that in this day and age, it's impressive. Keep the turnovers down. Utah Valley's got a shot.
All right, let's keep rolling here. We got a few more games to get through. We could do it quickly here. Prairie View A&M, Alcorn State, Max. Alcorn's laying 1. Total hasn't moved here, 140. I don't have much here. Do you have anything in this one?
Yeah, no, I think that this is a situation where in most years I'd be looking at Alcorn I'd be looking at Prairie View because of the fact that Gambrell and freaking the ability to fucking stretch a defense with Jawan Daniels is a big difference maker. When you have a really good on-ball defender like Dwayne Cox, like you do for Prairie View, it helps you force those turnovers. And I do think we're going to see this team play a little more high pressure, especially now that they have pretty much a full usage of their bench. I think that at the end of the day, if Alcorn is able to freaking avoid these turnovers, then they're going to be able to freaking win this game. We saw Texas Southern already have a scare with Jackson State. I think Alcorn comes ready to play and goes wire to wire. So I'll ride with the conference champs.
All right. All righty, let's get to the Southland here, Max. Katy, Texas, Incarnate Word versus Houston Baptist. Baptist laying 5. His totals come down to 140 and a half. Man, do you trust Houston Baptist laying the 5 here?
Listen, Houston Baptist has been a decent basketball team,
Yeah.
but the problem is they're coming off a freaking 4 overtime game against McNeese State. And even though that was 4 days ago, I am very skeptical about laying points with a team, even in a tournament situation, even versus an opponent that they've been really able to dominate in both matchups. It's a tough number. I'll end up on Houston Baptist first half and then evaluate from there.
Okay, let's get to the other one. McNeese State, Northwestern State. McNeese is 1.5, 2. Depends on where you're looking here. Total 154.5, 155. High one here. Do you like anything McNeese, Northwestern State?
Yeah, the problem for McNeese is they were the other team in that Houston
And then
Baptist quadruple overtime. This is a team that definitely has problems getting those 3-point shots to drop. And if they can't do that against Northwestern State, they're going to be in trouble. Don't get me wrong, Connor. I'm a really big fan of some of the pieces on this roster. I do think that they have the talent, they do have the size, and they do have the ball handlers to take care of business. When we look at freaking Colin Warren, Zach Scott, Miles Lewis, that's a good trio right there. Then we're talking about Kellen Taylor. Yeah, the big difference for me and the difference maker for this team, if they're going to win this game tonight, is Christian Shoemate. I can't remember the last time that he didn't have a double-digit game, whether he's coming off the bench or freaking starting. He's a guy that takes care of the basketball, makes shots when he needs to for his team. And if he's going to need to do that again tonight against Northwestern State, this is a team that they were able to handle, but it took a very nice start for them to build up that lead. With Northwestern State, Connor, we know that freaking Kendall Coleman's a fucking beast. He's going to be able to hit free throws. He's going to be able to freaking get to the free throw line. He's going to be able to freaking score inside. And you know what? While you don't have to worry about him on the offensive glass, he is a guy that grabs boards. If they want to win this game, Connor, you stop Carvel T-Sit, you stop Kendall Coleman from doing what he wants, then you win the game. But it's a difficult one. It's a real toughie.
Okay, let's get to these games, Max. They're pretty interesting. I thought Delaware State, Norfolk State. Norfolk's laying 16.5 here, Max. Total. This one's moved up just a point, but 135.5. Delaware State keeps losing, but they keep covering. Is this enough points to cover again? I like it a little bit. What do you think here? Didn't Norfolk just beat them by like 5 or something last week?
Yeah, this is definitely Delaware State territory, Connor. With Miles Carter and how experienced this roster is, they will fight, play till the end. And I don't think they're going to win. Norfolk's too good, but I definitely think they can stay within the number.
Me too. I was hoping I'd see a 17 and just jump all over it, but yeah, I think they can stay too. Norfolk wins; they're the better team. But how about this one, Max? I was looking at a bunch too. Coppin State, Howard. Obviously, Howard's a better team. They're laying 6 though. I always talk about I don't love laying points with this team, and Coppin, not a very good team, beat them twice this year. I remember both times. Both games were in the 80s, I believe, and they won by like 2, and one was by like 5. Totals 149.5, 150. Can Coppin do it one more time or hang around here, or is Howard gonna pound him? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that Howard will want to pound them, but that's not necessarily going to happen. I think that with Nende Tarke, he's the most important player for this Coppin State team. And I think that being able to control tempo is also going to be critical. We've seen Coppin really come out with very lackluster first half performances. So I would be looking at their first half team total under, but I would be wary of them making a big push in the second half. That's something that they've done pretty well. So yeah, I'd be riding Coppin. I think that this number very easily could have been 3, and I still would have liked Coppin.
Me too. It was one I just, damn, I don't get. I could only be Coppin. That might be one I maybe put half on and then half live. I haven't decided yet. We got a bunch of games. So let's get to this next one, Max. You should have something on this, I think. Navy, Colgate. Colgate's laying 7. Total's 129. Basically everywhere 129.5. What do you like here? Navy, Colgate.
Yeah, obviously, as the Patriot League governor, I find
Yeah.
this game incredibly intriguing. I want to see Navy be able to stay in it. I think that they do have to score points, and if they can't get above the 60.5 point plateau, I don't think that they have a chance to stay within the number. I think that when you see Colgate with a team total under 70, I think that your first instinct is to take the team total over. I don't blame you, and I wouldn't stop you.
I agree there on that one. All right, let's get to the last couple here. Binghamton versus Vermont. Vermont are 21.5 point favorites. They win this game, Max, I think, but wow, that's a huge number. This total's 135.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, I like Vermont first half and first half team total. I think that they've shown me that they can regularly get into that 38 to 40 point plateau with the way that they've been able to handle this Binghamton team. The really big question that will determine what happens in the first half, at least, will be if Vermont's hitting threes. We've seen them go buck wild, build that 20 point lead in 5 or 6 minutes of game time. If they're able to do that against this Binghamton team that now is fully healthy, has Jacob Falco, has Dan Petcash in the lineup, and Kellen Amos, it will be quite the achievement. I think that we're going to see points, and when I see Binghamton 56.5 points on their team total, I don't know how I'm going to say no to that.
All right, last one here, Max. Hartford, Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore County. They're laying 3.5. UMBC. This total's come down to 146.5, 147. I think this is going to be a good game. They're on their home floor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they are. So I've always liked them a little bit better, but Hartford is a good basketball team. I think this is going to be a good game. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that Hartford UMBC home game equals first half over, equals both team total overs. We've seen UMBC constantly fucking push the tempo at home, be very comfortable with those sight lines. I don't think that this game is any different. If they want to be winning at halftime, they're probably going to have to go fast. They cannot go slow.
All righty. That is it, Max. We are done. Is there anything you want to get off? There's games about to pop off right now. Did you want any of those?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll tell everyone I took Delaware State 16.5, but I already bet that. All right, that is that. Shout out to the chat. Let me see where we're at on the likes.
Yeah, we don't even have it. We have 72 likes. I'm not.
What the flying beep 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 beep. Come on, hit me with a like. God damn it, hit me one time with a freaking like. Hit the like button.
Mad, but I guess it's inevitable now.
No, I'm all right. It's just the people can get to 100. Come on, stop being the weak with the like button. Hit the like. All right, Max. Let's get right back to the rest of the games and our looks with those. But first, let's get a word from our sponsors. Hit the like button. If you're in the San Antonio area, go to Southtown 101, best bar in the city. We will be there shortly in just a few weeks. I can't wait. Go to manscaped.com, 20% off promo code Pub Sports. Get the Lawnmower 4.0, get everything with it, the whole package. And go to mybookie.ag at promo code Pub Sports. You got to have multiple books. Get these lines, Max. So add another one. Go to mybookie.ag betonline.com, AG promo code Pub Sports, and use the Bitcoin. The best way to do it. They'll match you with $1,000. So go there, get it done. And lastly, go to pubsportsradio.com. Get the pub rub. Get it on your chicken, your brisket, your ribs. Get it seasoned. Season up your shit. And while you're there, cop some of our merch, some of our Pub Sports Radio t-shirts, and support us there. All right, Max. Give a word to the chat. Give whatever you're betting tonight. What's up?
Yeah, listen, obviously, this is a very interesting time to be a basketball fan. There is a lot to bet on, a lot to ride with. And I think that when we look at this Vermont Binghamton game, it's just a situation where the number makes sense. Forget the matchup, forget the spread. Do you see this Binghamton team not getting enough possessions to score 57 points? I don't see it. So I think that is the way to go tonight. Binghamton full game team total over 56.5. And Connor, I'm going to just ride with what's working. Navy over 60.5 points. I'm sure Noli knows is in a sports book in Vegas somewhere being like, this fucking over better. But I'm hoping that my guys score 61 points for us.
All right. I like it. Excellent work. Let's check the number. We hit a hundo. Almost 99. Hit the like if you haven't. Appreciate you guys. All right, Max. I got a couple here. One favorite that I liked Charlotte a little bit. I'm taking Sam Houston, laying the 3. There's 3s out there right now. I think they get the job done with Flag. I think they're better defensively. And California Baptist just isn't the same team on the road, even a neutral court. I don't trust them. I like Sam Houston. And the other one that I'm on here, give me Georgia. Give me the 9 points there. I love Vandy, Pippen Jr. I think they win the game, but 9's too many. I think it's just too many points. Give me Georgia. They at least cover. Their season ends tonight, but they at least cover there +9. And that is it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jay Smith, Charlotte, for sure. I like that as well. C. James, TCATL, Cash Action Bets, Ron Lofton, Max, my guy. I hate gas prices. Nasty Nate, Remos, 1777 memorabilia up in here. Brian, Trans Canada, what's up, my guy? Jake Burns, the Jakes up in here. Jake Gang, Michael, how's it going? Black Thor King. Shout out to everybody. Hit the like button on the way out. Noli knows, there he is. I'll hit him up. Isaiah, shout out to him. Let's have a night, Max. It was the mess weekend. The last couple days haven't been horrible, but they ain't been fucking good. So let's get some goddamn winners now. All right, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Connor. Let's go. Let's fuck with our eyes open. Let's dip our chicken tenders in honey, and let's support local strippers with silk panties.
Well said. I couldn't say it any better. He's the great Maxwell Smart. I'm Connor Mack. We're out of here. We be pumping! Peace!